Orleans, the term Creole referred to African slaves that were born in the New World into existing slave families. Eventually, the descendants of the French and Spanish colonial population of the city adopted the term in order to distinguish themselves from the newly arriving Europeans. These Creoles led extremely social lives that were mainly centered around family, and they generally did not stray away from the Creole communities in which they were raised. They relied heavily on their religious traditions and remained a very European culture, which is why the French Quarter in New Orleans has such a unique European flair. At this time, New Orleans also became home to the free people of color who hailed from the island nation of Haiti. The Haitians migrated to the U.S. after a slave uprising, and because they did, African heritage became a part of the Creole culture over time. After the Civil War, all persons of color were subject to racial discrimination, regardless of their social status. Jim Crow laws in the South stated that any person with at least one black great-grandparent was considered colored. Because of this, light-skinned descendants of colonial French, Spanish, and African people began referring to themselves as Creoles so that they would not experience discrimination. Today, the Creole culture in New Orleans is kept alive through the traditions and festivals of its people. Traditions such as cultural music and a laid-back view of the world are a large part of the Creole way of life. Zydeco music is extremely popular in New Orleans today. It is derived from the traditional Creole la-la music and is a combination of Creole, Cajun, African, and Caribbean folk songs with a foundation in R&B. Zydeco is characterized by the use of accordions, spoons, scrub boards, fiddles, and triangles. One of the most famous Creole recording artists was Armide Ardouin, a Zydeco accordionist from southern Louisiana. Today, Zydeco music can be heard all around the city and is especially popular with street musicians, as is jazz music, which also has roots in Creole culture. Several festivals are held in New Orleans every year to celebrate certain aspects of the Creole culture. The French Market Creole Tomato Festival and the Trem Creole Gumbo Festival are two of the most well-known events associated with the Creole culture. Festivals are a good way for tourists to get involved in the Creole way of life and keep the traditions alive. Creole culture has influenced New Orleans in many ways and can be seen in everyday life through food, architecture, and traditions of the Creole people. Today, the Creole way of life exhibits a love for all people and a laid-back, easygoing philosophy that fits in perfectly with the joie de vivre of the Big Easy.